You're listening to the NABS Now podcast, brought to you by the National Association of Blind Students, a proud division of the National Federation of the Blind. My New Year's resolution is to read Braille for at least 10 minutes every day.
One of my goals for 2021 is to really just engage and network with more people in my academic discipline.
My New Year's resolution is to participate more actively in routines of self-care.
My New Year's resolution is to keep on trucking the best I can.
My New Year's resolution is to build off the progress I made in 2020 and prioritize finding a balance between school and life.
My New Year's resolution is to set clear goals for my physical and mental health.
My New Year's resolution is to create a more consistent workout routine and plan my meals a little bit healthier.
My New Year's resolution is to move out of the house I currently live in into a happier environment.
My New Year's resolution is to finish my final semester strong at my local community college and hopefully tour other schools and find one that I would like to transfer to so I could pursue my degree in psychology.
My goal for 2021 is to learn how to do a tray flip on a skateboard.
My New Year's resolution is to get a job and hopefully move to DC.
My New Year's resolution is to find my own living space off campus.
Hey everyone, welcome to the NABS Now podcast. I'm your host Nina, and from the entire NABS Now team, we would like to wish you all a very happy new year. We hope that you guys have an amazing 2021, and in that spirit, today we're going to be talking all about goals and motivation. And joining us to talk in depth about goals and keeping up that motivation is Haley Sumner. So I will allow Haley to introduce yourself. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Nina. Hi, everyone. I'm Haley Sumner. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I graduated from Butler University last year with a double major in communications and Spanish. And after Butler, I decided to take my education a step further and participate in a year-long coaching program. It was a mix of business, life, and empowerment coaching, where I was really able to not only further develop into the person that I want to become as a young professional, but also as someone who is an advocate and holds many passions. It was a great way for me to learn about what it means to grow and also be a motivational and encouraging leader.
That's amazing. So we're going to jump right into our questions, and I think your background definitely qualifies you to answer a lot of these. So how do you create attainable goals for yourself?
I love that question. So one way that I create attainable goals is by using part of the SMART goal system, really ensuring that my goals are not only specific and measurable, but also ensuring that they have appropriate actions that can be broken down into smaller chunks to ensure that I'll be able to accomplish them in a timely manner. And I also want to make sure that my goals are realistic in a realistic time frame, and also I'm not setting myself up that I'm definitely not biting off more than I can chew. As someone who is an overachiever and who loves to be very involved, that definitely can be more of a challenge. But I think just really ensuring that the goals are doable and that those small breaks are achievable are just incredible steps to ensure that I can accomplish the bigger goal that's at hand.
So the SMART goal system then you said is, I've never heard of this before, so I think it's really interesting. Specific, manageable.
So it's specific, measurable, it's attainable, realistic, and timely.
Okay, amazing. That's actually really cool. I think that's going to help our students a lot. I actually never heard of that system, so I'm really excited to try it myself. So who, if anyone, keeps you accountable?
Yeah, I love that question. So I actually love the idea of having accountability buddies, whether it's like close friends of yours or mentors. So I actually connect with a mentor weekly basis, and she's very aware of my goals and hopes and aspirations that I have. And she is an incredible person that just checks in with me, and whenever we have our meetings, I know that whenever we meet, she's the person I go to just to check in with and provide updates with how I'm doing on my goals. But I think on more of a personal level, it's really great to have peers or friends or like fellow students that you can kind of count on and really utilize to motivate each other. I think being able to share goals, but also kind of have differences in your goals is really important and also wonderful, kind of just as a way to grow closer, but also grow deeper in motivation as well.
It's the diversity too.
Yeah, definitely.
So our next question has to deal with your everyday life. Do you have any tips or tricks as to how you take ownership of your day and are your most effective and productive self?
Yeah, I think being able to stick to a consistent routine is incredibly important. I know sometimes, especially in the world that we live in today, it can be all too easy to veer away from that routine and almost want to create our day based on how we're feeling or emotions or even like the climate of what's happening in the world. But I think being able to have consistency is so important in being able to not only build a sense of accomplishment and productivity at the end of the day, but also to be able to create aspirations for yourself that you know you want to follow through on. So what I do at the beginning of my week is I actually create a list of hopes I want to accomplish, almost like a to-do list, both daily and sometimes weekly if I'm feeling extra ambitious. And then throughout my day, I will just check items off. There are actually some really helpful apps that can make this super seamless and easy. And also, I think it's really important to give yourself grace too, because sometimes they can come up in our day. Our days don't look exactly like we planned initially. So I think being able to give yourself grace and know that if you aren't able to accomplish as much in one day, that's totally fine. And there's always a new day to wake up to tomorrow.
So speaking of giving yourself grace, how do we handle not attaining a goal? Should we start from scratch or do something else? And how do we keep that from being discouraging?
Yeah, that's such a wonderful question. And I think it definitely is so much harder said than done. But I think the smaller that we create our goals, the easier it is to stay on track. And so like as I mentioned earlier, if we have a bigger goal, being able to check it up is a great way to feel consistently encouraged and motivated along the way, even when it is harder to achieve those larger goals. I think also having alternative ideas too, to say if we want to go about accomplishing a goal in one way, but we might think it's like that way seems more difficult. I think maybe having like backup ideas or secondary solutions is helpful. So we can use those to fall back on.
I actually agree. I like the idea of having more than one planned way to accomplish a goal. How would you recommend someone start to identify realistic goals that they can set? Because sometimes we talk to students and we ask them about their goals, and they actually might not even be sure what those are.
Yeah, I think being able to look inward is an incredible way to start this. Being able to truly look inward and reflect on your passions. What are things that gets you excited? If you love school, and like if you love learning, like what specific aspects about that truly ignite you and inspire you to try more or do more. And then after you have that time of inner reflection, then find a tangible way that you can put those passions into action. So say you love to travel and you love learning about different cultures. Maybe you might want to make a goal to either take a class or pursue a minor in a different language, or maybe you want to take that a step further and study abroad next year. So I think looking inward first and then finding ways that you can take those passions and move them into action.
That's amazing. So keeping with the trend of looking inward, do you have any tips for students who are trying to build motivation to attain their goals?
Great question. Honestly, it can definitely be challenging, I would say, to find motivation sometimes, even within the strongest, most hardworking people, I would say. So, and like when I think of motivation, like I think of something that almost ebbs and flows, and that is on a continuum. So I would say when finding motivation, it's something that I think almost ebbs and flows and is on a continuum. So when I think of finding motivation and really tapping into that, I think of what it means to be joyful and like where do you find the most joy? And I think like that, I think joy and motivation can be correlated because in times where we are joyful and we are inspired, we're more likely to be motivated as a result of that. So, for example, say we want to make a change on our campus, whether that be becoming involved in a student organization or helping improve the lives of students as a whole, like in NABS or what have you. Say if we find joy in lifting others up and really being able to learn about their stories and learn from each other, and I feel like we might be more motivated to kind of take that into our own hands and make a change or become involved. So almost finding inspiration from our emotions that we feel.
Oh my god, I love that. I have one final question for you, and feel free to take some time to reflect if you need, but how do you manage to stay with your goals even if they do not align with expectations that others have for you?
Yeah, I love that question. So as I've gone along in my work, both learning and growing at Butler and then further developing in my coaching program and beyond, I think that there is something incredibly rewarding but also fulfilling about always being able to seek improvement and at the end of every day ask ourselves, in what ways did I learn and grow today, but how can I improve tomorrow? And I think like that continuous practice really allows ourselves to have consistent belief in our abilities, but also to know what it means to be uncomfortable and to step out of our comfort zone. And I think that those are two like incredible ways that we're able to grow, but also that we're able to trust ourselves and really believe fully in going after what we want. And I know too well that sometimes it can be difficult and it can be frustrating when suddenly our goals change, or we might have a change of heart and aspirations or passions. And I think convincing others that maybe a new path or a new route is best for us is an incredibly challenging feat. But I think just kind of going back to the idea of like knowing who it is we want to be, but also being able to trust that our goals have got us to a very successful point this far, and that process is not going to stop or defeat us anytime soon. So I think like being able to have just knowing that a passion is genuine and ignited if it continues to light us from deep within. And also that as humans, like we were also meant to evolve and we're meant to change. And I think transformation is incredibly wonderful because then we're able to truly achieve dreams and careers and opportunities that we never could have imagined for ourselves before.
Thank you so much for being here. I know that our students are going to learn a lot from everything that you've had to share, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Haley, for all of that amazing advice and information. We hope that all of you have an amazing 2021 and are able to accomplish all of your resolutions.